All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the World Arena podcast, aka the
What?
WOPcast. Today, Frost and I are joined by the Turn 2 master himself, Livert. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and hi everyone.
We
Yeah.
love turn 2.
Well, we do not love Turn 2, but I respect at least your Turn 2 playstyle because you're not as full RNG as most Turn 2 playstyles are.
We love Livert. We love
Uh,
Livert's turn 2. That's right. We should specify.
Yeah,
I think there's enough people out there would agree to disagree.
I mean you are like one of the most like I mean, you're honestly like one of the most feared people on ladder. Like, no one wants to fight you. Like,
Can you show your rank? Show your rank. Can we go to your rank real quick, Livert? That speaks right there. Rank 32 currently. Not obviously it's very early, but listen, it doesn't matter. He's very good at turn 2. If Livert tells you to do something, you fucking do it. If it's respect.
yeah.
Unless he tells you to
get
Leo
the
Vert,
runes
then just
for it.
ignore him.
Yeah,
Everybody has their 2 runes. At least,
Not his level. I tried because after our last podcast that we did with him, I immediately tried runing up turn 2, and I can't make one unit look like his Annabelle. So
the only thing I re-ruined was Orochi. I love the Orochi so much. I should try it again though.
But yeah, I mean, how's turn 2 feeling for you this season? I mean, clearly you're doing well, but does it feel strong right now, or how you feeling about it?
It at least feels like for me personally better again. Since like last season, I struggled a little bit with like when your opponent had first pick basically, and I had second pick. Like in my first row, I didn't really know what to go for. I mean, I wanted to go for Annabelle and then like a second unit, but I always felt like if I pick, for example, Riley, I'm open to snipes. If I go Sekhmet, they just pair it all over with a Miles and she does nothing. If I go, I don't know, Triana to avoid the snipe, then they just go full CC, and it didn't really fit. And now I basically just added Geo into the mix.
Gooey.
Gooey.
Whatever.
You said it right. He said
it's Gooey. You can't correct it. It's Gooey.
And yeah, now I kind of have answers for, I feel like, most first picks. So it feels like, for me personally, at least, it feels a bit better again.
If you didn't have a Chroma, would you still say that?
I'm not even playing her that much right now.
Oh, really? I thought you felt like you were. I felt like you told me. Well, before we started, you were telling me you played a little more.
You can check the last 15. Like, this is actually a very weird spot to pick her.
Makes sense.
I just needed an LD damage dealer, so. Yeah, same thing basically.
I do feel like this season and last season, it still feels awful to not have first pick. Like, it's just so bad when you only have, because like when you have second pick, you also have the last pick, which is just one unit, and it never feels like enough. Whereas the first pick guy gets to take the most broken unit that he wants to get, but then also gets a last round that's 2 units, so he can just counter all 4 that you've shown him. With 2 picks, you can only ban 1, and then he's banning whatever your last pick is as a counter to the counters. So it's like, it still feels really hard, at least for me. Like, I don't know what. I wonder if you can actually look up those stats, like what your win rate is, turn 1 versus turn 2, or pick 1 versus pick 2. I don't know if those websites have that, but if they did, I would love to see that, because it feels like 80% of my losses happen on second pick.
Like, I've never seen such a statistic, but it would for sure be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they have it, but it feels really weak to have second pick right now. Last pick doesn't feel as valuable as it used to be because they've probably already slammed 2 counters down. Then your last pick has to counter the counters, and they just ban it, and then it's like, okay.
I think it kind of depends on your box.
True.
If you have a unit that's like a real, like a powerhouse LD, that's like a real force ban, and you can slam it in early, then it's always, it's
true.
weird if you have to last pick your 2 units and you know that you have to let his last pick come through.
Yeah.
Kind of limits your ability to counter pick. So I think it depends a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely true. If you have something like, I mean, especially if you have like Gianna or something crazy like that, because then your opponent either has to immediately start drafting against your Gianna, or they have to let it through because they have to ban your last pick. Or, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I don't have that luxury really, but yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I mean, none of us really have any of the
I have Shazam.
quote unquote top tier LD5s, so.
Shazam is top tier. Don't tell me otherwise.
Top tier. Yeah, the best hamster in the game, but
Most powerful, absolutely. Love it.
But yeah, I mean, what are like as a turn 2 player, what's like when you are losing games? Is it just hard CC that's wrecking you? Is it the like super efficient mid-range comps with like Praha and stuff? Like what is it that's getting the best of you?
I think hard CC is okay right now, unless with there are like certain LDs involved. Before I had more struggle, like especially into the more teams, but with the addition of Nora and Hyunwa, it actually works quite well. Problem definitely are LD powerhouse drafts, like for example, was it like this guy?
Yeah.
I literally have no idea how you would tank that with turn 2.
You can't. I mean, I'm assuming he just bans your Abellio and just goes in. Like, I don't know.
I mean, the draft was just experimental on my side since I knew what he was playing. I faced him like 2 days before.
Yeah. I guess even Abellio doesn't work because
No.
you're either letting in a reset or a heal block. So either way, you're either reset and can't heal or heal blocked and can't heal. Damn,
I feel like
that's
you
rough.
have to outspeed, and yeah, well, try outspeeding like the Veronicas and Swift.
Yep. That's
and
crazy.
If I start turn 2, I can't really fit into speed leads, I think. So yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Could fit in Orochi though.
That's
Orochi the Ongyuki and hope for the best.
Not sure if it's enough to kill the Veronica though, or the Ongyoki.
I feel like if you kill the Ongyuki,
But yeah.
look, just bring back Orochi, all right? Don't question yourself. You know it's the way.
Other than that, I think Shizuka can be kind of tough, since I feel like you need a reset to deal with it. Otherwise, it's really hard. And yeah, if the resets just, I mean, segment sometimes just does segment things, right? Just does lantern things, and then it's kind of a thing.
I would think that you would do a little bit better versus Shizuka though, just because like you're not doing as many debuffs. Like when I run into trouble with Shizuka is when she procs out of my CC and just throws my CC back to me. Like that's when it's the really rough. But like sometimes if I just like let her move and don't go for my stuns yet, it's not too bad. But like you don't run a whole lot of like stuns and stuff. But
I mean, you don't need a whole lot. You just need one, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Leona's probably like the best single target stunner in the game, at least. So
yeah.
That happens.
Who was sorry? Oh, Leona.
Yeah. Annabelle provides debuffs as well, so
it
can be difficult. But I had people that run like Shizuka into me, and they don't bring their own defense break. And if I have Leona,
just
then
hold it.
I just don't defense break, and then they just can't kill me. So
love it. I actually love that.
But yeah, that's not what they do usually.
Yeah.
So
do you use a lot of Masha or anything?
Masha, I myself don't use her. No, couldn't really make her fit.
What about Cigar?
I always want to build him, and then I kind of forget about him because I don't really like. I feel like he needs to be. Yeah, I think he's missing rune.
Yeah, he needs to be fast.
Yeah, he needs to be in the. I would say above 180.
Yeah,
that's how I have mine.
Yeah.
The reason I asked about Masha is I kept playing this one guy over and over again who was using like Masha first pick into like similar stuff to you, like Molly. He has a Leona, and like 2 counter picks last, and oh my god, I could not break through that team. Like no matter what I did, it's like you either have the Masha, who it's like if you don't get 100% control over her, you just lose a unit, or you like, but you also have to bring units that can deal with Leona if you want to let Leona through. And there's always Molly there, like fucking you. Like, oh my god, I hate that team so much. I don't know how to beat it. It's like I just give up every time I fight that guy. I don't know what to do.
Okay, what I don't like about Masha is that once she's dismounted, she doesn't really do anymore what she's supposed to do. And I feel like she's,
she just puts people on a timer, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, get her under control and or dismounted on the first round of turns, or you're going to lose one of your units.
Pretty
it's like
much.
you have, those are your 2 options. It's like just sacrifice one of your units or get her under control. And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes Molly makes you glance or you miss or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's for you guys. I just let her through and don't care.
Bullshit.
Because 100 rest just does the rest.
That is true.
Not that high on accuracy.
That's true.
My 100 res hasn't been working on Masha. Just me, though. I'd say Masha defense break my Suki and throw it in the dumpster. I just cry. I build my Suki on 100 res for that reason, just for like kill Masha, but then she kills me, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll die. It's not much else I can do.
I'm just, if I see Masha first pick, I'm just okay. I'm only picking 100 res this draft, and then it's fine usually.
Yeah. So if with your full bias, if you could nerf one unit in the meta, who would you nerf then? Like what's the single unit that's like the most problematic?
Still Nana.
Nana?
For me personally.
Really?
Yeah, for me
that's surprising.
Yeah, she's in that if you compare it with Moore back in the day, I feel like she's in a similar spot where Moore back then was supposed to counter turn 1 meta, but instead of countering it, he was enabling it.
He bolstered it, yeah.
Yeah, and with Nana, it's the same thing. She's supposed, or at least I feel like it, she's supposed to counter the snipe comms, but she's also enabling the snipe comms at the same time.
Yeah, that's very true.
You can lower her revive to 1%, it's still going to be the same issue.
Yep. Yeah, they didn't really go the wrong direction with her with her nerfs, or with her buffs, I mean.
Yeah, so for turn 2, it's really annoying. Like Nana, Molong, Dominic's really, I don't know. I started, if I see a Nana first pick, I started stealing away the Dominic because it's really hard to deal with otherwise.
Yeah, and, that is true.
Usually I wouldn't really want to pick Dominic because, I don't know, I think the unit is kind of dumb. Like the damage output is just ridiculous.
Still insane. But oddly enough, he's not picked that much either, which is kind of weird to me. He's definitely
dropped. But
I don't know why he's dropped, because like I still fear it when it's on the field most of the time. It doesn't make sense to me why he's not taken more. I still think he is very threatening on the field against most drafts. So I don't bother him.
Yeah, I don't know why he's been picked less. I mean, a lot of people. It's probably just because of the Masha first picks, I guess, because like you don't want to Dominic into them, but then the people who first picked Masha also don't really need him either. So I guess, I don't know, he's just not really needed for a lot of people, I suppose.
But yeah, and then just build your Dominic like this,
like a Leo counter type thing.
And
no, not
either.
100 res almost.
You don't care about the Masha.
I had a Dominic.
I feel like you still care because like that would die. Like if you're at like 50 to 60%, like that's dead to Masha's like dismounted S2, right?
That's true.
Like because it's just tough because it's like even if you are like okay, you resist her defense break, you get your dismount onto her. Well, she's on NEM, so you just gave her a shitload of bar, and now you just get blasted by an S2 in her human form, which is kind of rough. But that is still probably the best way to approach fighting her, is having max res. But you're probably ruining yourself right now because everyone's just going to go change their their Mashas. I'll put an accuracy slot 6 on all these Mashas.
Eventually,
good.
damage is fine.
You know her damage would
they
still be
should-
really good, though.
A little bit.
Nah, it's. I think if you go for higher accuracy, you would probably go for crit rate slot 4 instead of crit damage. And then it's not gonna be enough anymore.
Maybe. I guess it depends
maybe
what you have.
maybe for turn 1 units, since they are a little bit squishier, but for turn 2.
I wonder if you could
would
do
have
like
to pair
attack.
up.
I wonder if you could do almost like the Pernas back in the day that used to be like attack crit damage attack. If you could do like attack crit damage accuracy on a Masha.
That would be one way as well.
You'd need a really good slot too.
Yeah.
I don't
But
have
her
it.
base
I've never
speed is
gotten
just
one.
so absurd. It just makes
allow.
life so much easier.
I'm gonna see if I can even do that right now, for no good reason.
The tough part is like still getting it on Nem because like I just don't have Nem runes like that.
Surprisingly, I do actually. Oh my god, I actually do have a good rune for it. Oh shit! Yeah, hold on.
Countering Livert while we're talking to him.
Thanks,
No,
Livert.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the rest of your team is still so tanky though that if Masha's were built like that, you probably would be okay. Like maybe your Dominic now gets beaten by her, but everything else probably doesn't.
No, like I'm not afraid of Mashas.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. It's so
But I can
crazy. It's
see
crazy how
it's-
different the game is. Like when you play like a different style. Like for me, like when someone picks a Nana, I'm like, yes, a unit I don't have to ban or worry about getting sacked by. But it's like it's complete opposite for you.
yeah.
But I mean, do you have any issues with like Oliver and stuff? Like, is he a pest or what?
Oliver, I would say it depends a lot on the team comp.
Like when
you
he's
can
with
run
Veronica and stuff.
Yeah, but the Oliver was not really the issue there, right?
Well, he
But,
just makes it hard because it's like, at least with the other units, like even if you do get Veronica, you still have the chance at least with Annabelle when she gets her turn. Does she sleep and then proc? Does she do this or that? But Oliver just keeps you at 0 bar for the whole game, and you're just like you don't even get chances to come back.
Yeah, but with the rest of the team you had in that draft.
Oh yeah,
it's not
of course.
when she gets a turn; it's more on if she gets a turn.
Yeah, of course.
That just didn't work. I feel like with Oliver, like I'm comfortable going into him unless it's like one of these, let's say Gianna Oliver, Lima Oliver, like those kind of things.
The mid-range kind of comps.
But if they run it in like a full CC, like a more Changpong kind of thing or something like that, then I mean Changpong Oliver, you can kind of counter them the same way, then it's usually fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, those mid-range kind of comps, it's like if you kill the Oliver early, it's okay, but if something goes wrong, then yeah, you can end up in a point where it's just locked down completely.
Yeah. I do still hope that they nerf him. Like I've had less issues with him lately, but I still just hate like I don't know, just having a good 33 in the game just doesn't feel right. Like especially when there's only one of them because it's like it's just too pivotal. Like it's just every draft is like directed by whether or not your opponent picked Oliver. It's like, do I even want to bother trying to go first right now? Like, he's going to pick a Sekhmet and a Miles and maybe an Escher, and then he's got 33 leads, so no matter what I ban, I'm getting outsped. But if I ban the 33, then I leave a bunch of super high base speed, also really strong units. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, and you can't even go consider the turn 2 route comfortably because then you just get dunked on that way as well. Unless you're Livert, somehow he pulls it off.
Your team is mystifying to me. Like I don't know.
I don't get it. I actually don't get it, dude, how you do it. Like, yes, Leona helps, and yes, Acroma helps the occasional time, but in general, it's still, like Zig said, mystifying how you pull it off so consistently because I can't. Like, what's her name? The wind one you were showing me, the Windstring Master.
She's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And
The
so
attack rate
is
also.
Gyu. I've been having a lot of issues fighting Gooey lately.
I need to rune up my Gooey again. Well, she is ruined. I just have to draft it more. And I do want that. What's her name again? Could you, the String Master? Yan Hua. Yan Hua. Hua Yan. Yan Hua. There we go. I got it. Nailed it. Just like Gooey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually build that one. See how that plays out for me. With Shazam,
Yeah, but
baby.
She's weird to use though, since like you can't pick her into sustain, and you need something else that deals damage, since she can't kill, right? So you need something to do the finishing job, basically.
Yeah.
Are you using Gyo mostly into Oliver too? Is that?
Yeah, like when I see Oliver first pick, I usually respond with Annabelle Geo.
Oh, right away.
That early.
Yeah.
I like it.
She's such a pain in the ass. I've had so many issues with her recently. It's just the despair. That's the problem. It's the despair.
The best way to build her.
The karma, it's whatever. You can deal with it. You can either take the damage or just hold off for a little bit, but like, God, the fucking despair stuns that never stop, that are attached to skills that strip. It's just rough.
Okay, I mean, there's no real other way to build her than except in despair, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Still not sure if that's like really good, or if you go despair revenge or despair will, or
yeah, I don't know what the offset, because like on revenge you can only despair stun. You can't defense break or anything. Yeah, I don't know.
It's when you attack on your turn. That's right.
Yeah, none of those girls can use their second part of their skill. They can strip, and they can despair stun if they're on despair, but they can't do their other thing. It's like Tomo can't stun, for example. But I don't know, I think Will's probably best, just to not get like an instant lockdown put onto you of some sort. Like otherwise, like Wind Robo could just maybe S3 you right off the bat and just put you down for a couple turns. I don't know.
Yeah, also like when I started using her, I had her off will, I think, and I had people basically kind of playing around her with just like, since I had too many units off will, and then they just wouldn't go for the AoE strip, just S1 something and then pull out the Chunk Pong S3 or whatever.
Yep.
And then she doesn't really do anything either.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I think turn 2 is getting really strong. I do think it's going to be weird if they do, because most people, the nerfs that they're asking for right now are turn 1 units. Like, generally speaking, I mean, Masha's kind of both, but Oliver's largely turn 1. I mean, I guess Shizuka's kind of both too, right? So, but if they were to, let's just say this balance patch comes out and they do just nerf Oliver and maybe Masha, like, I don't know. Does that help turn 1? Does it hurt turn 1? Does it, like, I don't really know. I'm curious what's actually, we all think we know what's going to happen if they do it, where it's like, oh yeah, the 33's gone. Turn 1's just great. But then it's like, okay, but turn 1 also loses one of its best tools. So is that good or bad?
For me, I feel like the game would feel a lot better. But I'm like, with the amount of people just going Livert immediately for no good reason, they just give him their best 0 speed runes or whatever they do. I feel like if that decreases with Oliver being gone as well, that makes turn 1 slightly better. But it's not like they take any runes. I'm thinking out loud, like, what's the process or what's the result of Oliver being gone as the best first pick?
I think the result could be that CC drafts just look a little different than they are looking now, and that maybe certain CC units that are now not used that much would be used more again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what, and maybe those would then help against the turn 2 teams, but now since you prioritize the runes on Oliver, you just can't like put it on those or whatever. But I'm not sure if that could be a thing.
It'll be weird to see. I wish it was happening before SWC. Like, I want to see them Like, because I want to know, like,
Struggle.
what... Well, because most of those people are playing mid-range versus mid-range with, like, sprinkled in high base speed turn 1 units and sprinkled in, like, efficient turn 2 units based on, like, which way they want to go. So, like, I want to see... Because, like, right now it's really hard. Like, one of the upsides of actually having a viable 33 that you can use is, like, you don't have to back off the second your opponent puts down a Sekhmet or something. Because their Sekhmet's probably only going to have 24 leads with it, and you've got your 33 in the Oliver that, like, can actually give you a fighting chance against those super high base speeds. But I feel like those are going to be kind of like almost like cheat codes once Oliver is gone, because now it's like mostly everybody's working with 24s, and if everybody's working on the same speed lead percentage, then 114 base speed, 116 base speed, Yan Hong, whatever, like, those units are going to just be so much... They're already so good. They're just going to be even better. I don't know.
Yeah, but it would be basically the same as it was before, right? So
It could be, but, like, I mean, Sekhmet got buffed after Oliver with the S3 cooldown reduction, and I don't know, the meta is just weird. I don't know, it's hard. It's like, I don't know if did these high base speed units come into play because people were combating Oliver, or just because I don't know. But once he's gone and those are still here, they seem too overtuned.
For me personally, they came into play because people started, like, from the meta where everyone was like playing Swift units, like more Jogan, everything was Swift.
Yeah.
And now it's usually all those are Despair. So even the like turn 1 kind of teams are Despair. So you can use the Sekhmet without a speed lead to outspeed those like turn 1 Despair or Bio drafts, even if they have 24 or even 33 lead.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm like itching for this balance patch because the last one was such a dud. Other than Robos out of nowhere. Have you been having issues with Robos?
I haven't really seen them a lot,
What?
to be honest.
I guess we don't queue at the same time, but
I don't know, like maybe a Dark Robo here and then, but that was it.
I feel like he shreds your type of comp. Oh, well, not Dark, Wind specifically. But, like, what's your normal response? I mean, I guess the Chroma's kind of a pain in the ass, but
yeah,
like, I mean, he destroys...
Does he really... Yeah, but does he really do that much? Like, assuming I have, for example, I don't know, 2 fire units and a Chroma there, what does he do?
But is there even 2 good fire units in the game? Like, which ones? Like...
Nora Juno, for example?
See, is it like... I don't know. I feel like those units are fine. Like, the only units that really, like, throw a wrench in my comp are, like, Douglas, just because I can't just put a stun on him and deal with him later. Like, every single time I AoE, I have to take that clap back from him. Or, like, Triple Revenge Verd and stuff like that. Or Antares, who just comes in randomly. Anything else that, like, I can just plant a stun on and just leave it for later, I drain so much bar and I gain so much bar that, like, I don't know, units like Nora, Annabelle, like, things that would normally do well against CC, they just don't ever really get a turn. It's almost impossible for them to get a turn.
Even fire units, since you should glance a lot, right?
Well, I'm using... So my comp right now is Wedgeot, Violent Revenge Verd, Swift, Wind Robo, and Despair Fire Robo. So, like, and then my 5th pick is always something that's just like a super hard counter. So, like, if they're weak to Amber, I just pick Amber, and if they leave it, they're dead. Or if I, like, you know, if it's heavy passives, I pick Tessa. They can't leave it, because if you leave it, then I have a strip, a boost, and a Oblivion unit. But, like, I don't know, if you've got the Wind and the Fire Robo draining upwards of like 60 bar per S2, and then Wedgeot giving 30 bar and Verd giving 40 bar every time they move, it's really tough to take a turn if you're not using units that cut in some way, you know?
Okay, yeah, that's kind of right.
But I don't know. I don't know. We can test it at some point. I'm curious. I almost like Timbo's playing very similar to you, and he almost got me with the Yanhua girl, but it's still he never took a natural turn. He just couldn't. But I don't know. I think those are going to be really. I think the Robos are going to be even better once Oliver and Masha hopefully get nerfed, and then I feel like Robo's probably going to have to get nerfed.
Dominate, yeah. Because
They're going to have to. I don't know. They're too good right now.
they were just
Okay.
reminiscent of Old Moore, right?
They're
That's
even
all
better.
it is. Oh, even better, yes, even better. But reminiscent is like you have to remember how when Moore dominated the meta at that time. I abused the crap out of it, obviously,
Yep.
and it wasn't a bad thing for me. I don't think he should have been still nerfed at that time. But when I look at the Robos, but mind you, once they lose one of their best speed leads, assuming Oliver loses speed lead or he gets reduced, whatever. Once Oliver is out of the equation for that, trying to think like Tomo doesn't offer a whole lot unless you land the spare stuns.
Yeah,
Sierra
I don't
is
think
garbage.
she's. You can't use
Like-
either of those. You'll end up losing to turn 2 comps.
Samoth is
Tomo
gonna
doesn't keep
be,
it. Samoth's actually really good. Yeah, the AOE slow is just devastating. Like when you're gaining like 90 bar a turn for free from your passives and your Robo S2s, and then you're also slowed by a Samoth. It's really hard to move. But I don't know.
I gotta get one. I need to build my Robo.
I don't know. I've actually rarely seen them. Like when I see CC, it's usually like the more CP kind of stuff, for whatever reason. But even that is more like, I don't know. Like when you're, I feel like when you're playing G3 opponents, then it's usually Oliver, Shizuka, that kind of thing, or
Yeah.
some sort of snipe comp maybe with Nana and Dominic. And as soon as you start facing G2, it's like everyone is playing more chunk bong. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Well, it's
But,
weird
yeah, I
right now
think-
because right now there technically isn't a G2. Like when you hit the G2 line right now, you're within top 300.
Yeah, but-
is this season moving super slow or what? Like rank wise, like how is there still not G2? Like G2 is not a real rank right now, technically.
I'm not even sure. But I hate that they even have that at the beginning of the season. Like that it feels different from when you're like deeper into the season. I feel like they could make that start a little bit more smooth.
Yeah, because we've got to be like a month in, right?
Yeah, and there's not that many. Not even when I'm looking at top 100 right now. At least 12 people are not even 1900 yet for the G3, so that's why.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
see right
crazy because
I don't blame. Like it's kind of expected, right? Everyone's really tired of these Oliver comps and all that crap.
but
So
the
they're
fact that a month in top 100 isn't even all 3 red stars a month, that's crazy to me. Is that not, that's unusual, right? Like that's not how this normally goes, is it? Maybe I'm just
actually not
forgetting.
sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I just know beginning of the season, if you're like shooting for top 100, it's always kind of frustrating to play because you end up in situations where you're just like right over the border and suddenly you have like 2 or 3 minute queue times,
Yep.
and then you just manage to climb like 20-30 points above the border and suddenly you have the losing streak of doom and you're just back down again.
Yeah, you also
And
like
I don't know.
getting locked into fighting the same person over
Yeah,
and
that-
over and over again. It's like,
Yeah,
fuck.
that's like usually how you end up in those losing streaks, right?
Yep.
If you just have to face someone and you can't really figure out how to beat them,
Yep.
and then you're like, yeah, okay, my day was good except for I had to play that one guy 5 times that I just
Stupid Masha
against.
Leona guy. I hate that guy. I lost to him like 8 times in a row.
Love it. Well, this is the hard part too about like well, not hard part. It was just like it's part of the thing. If you only can play within a certain time frame, you're always going to queue the same people or trying to dodge the same people, right? Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, the only thing you can do about it is not play. So if you want to not play, then you're avoiding the person, I guess. But typically, I always remember when I stream my usual times, I'm always fighting like the same group of people. Rarely do I see a name I have not seen before. Depending how many days in a row I play, it's just everyone plays at the same time. So there's no way to avoid it either, unless you want to drop rank and then climb again and just dodge.
It feels even worse this season though. It just feels like it's moving really slow, and I don't know if it's like people are not playing or if people are just really struggling to like maintain win rate to continuously climb in points. Like, can you bring the leaderboard up again? Like, how far ahead is like rank 1 from the G3 line?
Oh, like 200 points.
No, that's like he's like 310 points ahead.
Is it 1800 for G3?
Well, it's 1800 for G3 rank wise, but it like you don't technically you don't get the third red star until you've hit 1900 threshold. But like you're technically top 300 at 1800 right now. So he's 310 points away from rank 300 a month in. That just tells me people are having a hard time maintaining win rate. Because people are playing, like you queue up, you still find people. People are playing the game. But I guess people just aren't managing to like string together like really good win streaks and stuff like that right now. Or something like that. I don't know.
Or they're goofing around with random comps just to still play. And then
we got a community of pretty sweaty tryhards, dude.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
We goof around, but there's.
I mean, I feel like you face more kind of different comps again compared to last season.
Yep.
So maybe it is actually that people are trying around stuff and haven't really figured out what they want to do.
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, one of the easiest ways to like maintain a good win rate in this game is figure out what like the true like meta is. Like when there's really strong metas like Gani Hathor, who was in every single match for like 6 straight seasons, or like Water Ryu and stuff like that when he was dominating. If you could figure out how to beat those comps, you could rip off, huge win streaks just farming those people that you figured out how to beat their comp. But in a meta where all these people are running completely different shit, it's tough. Like, how do you figure out everybody's comp? How do you figure out how to beat you, but also beat me, but also beat Obabo, who's using like Fran, Ethna, whatever? It's like 3 totally different comps. You might fight us, bang, bang, bang. That's hard. It's hard to go 3-0 in that stretch right there against 3 polar opposite comps, Like that's really tough. But that's honestly a good thing. I mean, that's a good sign of like a kind of diverse meta in some sense.
That's how I see it too. And then the only thing I think limits people is not, well, there's brain exercise as well, but there's also rune limits that people have, right? Eventually, like even if you do own all the counters for something or some kind of variety of units, even as like I know how to counter this, but I don't have it runed because I'm out of runes. There's no other reason. It's like I'm out of runes. I know I could play this, but I'm out of runes. That's why it's more to have like a single unit that does diverse things, such as I don't know, like Pra. I love saying Pra because Pra does everything, right? So even if your opponent poses like someone Obabo, like you got Fran and whoever coming in, that's what you can draft.
All of a sudden you're getting Sonya'd out of nowhere, and it's like
Sonya out of nowhere.
What is happening? Like, I thought I had a grip on what I was doing right now, and all of a sudden I'm getting Sonya Lagmaroned with a Swift Fran. Like what is going on?
I don't mind when that happens though. I don't mind losing to like the most random ass comps that outrune me or anything like that. It makes it more fun. I like losing if it's something like I've never faced
I'm
before.
Cool with losing to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what I'm doing with like the more people.
Yeah.
Just picking Gio, Nora, Hyunwa into them. and you just like you see
wouldn't
in
know
the
what to
match
do
that they
if
just
I was
have
running that.
no idea what that unit even does.
Yeah.
Like there's like she plays her song, people start trying to oblivion her, try and reset her, try to stun her, nothing works. Like
Yep.
they just have no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even like Lagmaron still, he's getting more popular now that like some streamers are picking him up, but like a week ago or so, you could like pick a Lagmaron and people are literally just like throwing down Douglas as like a counter of some sort. And it's like, are they banning my Lagmaron? But it's like you have like Water Ryu and Lagmaron, you're like, why is there a Douglas? Like they're both gonna kill Douglas, and they leave Lagmaron, you just one shot it, and you feel like it's like, does that person know what it does?
I guess not.
Like I was so confused, but
Nah, you complained about getting luck sacked afterwards.
yeah, that's true.
Without reading, they
It's
just
just
complain.
but there's a lot of units going on right now, and I do think like, I mean, you know how it is. Like a lot of the accounts in this game every season change hands and whatever, and like there are players at decently high ranks that are not totally, accustomed to being there, I guess you could say. Just happen to buy an account that is up there, and so I guess it
feel like
happens.
I feel like oftentimes when high level accounts get sold, they just basically disappear to Nirvana.
They
Called
do.
C3.
Well, yeah, like they disappear to like
C3.
C3G1 line. Like that's what I was thinking. Then those are the people that you pull, and it's like they pick Douglas for Slagmaron, or they leave the Yanhua in when they have Water Ryu CP or whatever, and then they just die after a 15-minute fight.
I'm building
I think the only people that are now up there that weren't before are the Lucky Gorka owners.
Yeah.
So I think if there's one unit that should get nerfed, that's definitely the one in my opinion.
Which one? Sorry.
Gorka.
Oh, Gurkha.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
It really is. I don't know who that thought that crap was okay, but here we are with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't like units like him that have like, I mean, I still feel the same way. I mean, I understand I run a comp that's weak, inherently weak to units like Douglas. Like I get that, but I just hate units where it's like they can throw down one unit in a 10-unit draft and your options are ban it or lose. Like
yes.
That you like those are literally just your only two options. Like I understand like, okay, there's a Douglas, like I'm okay with like a Diana, for example. It's like, okay, this unit is going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to be hard to beat, but I can beat it. Gurkha, it's like sometimes it's just like, yeah, I'm not going to beat that thing right now. It's going to be invincible and kill all 4 of my units, no matter how this game goes. So I just have to ban it. Same with Douglas. Same with like, I don't like when counter picks are that strong. I like good counter picks, like. I don't like Diana, but at least I can see a Diana and go like, I can find my way through this unit at some point. But I don't like Gurkhas and shit like that. Juno feels like that sometimes too, but
like then the annoys me. Like I have my like HP meme comp, right? I'm just trying to meme and have fun, but then Douglas like for sure totally solos me.
Yeah, you can't beat it under any circumstance.
No, I can't beat it, and like it. Well, I beat it a couple times with like it's considered luck sack because I'm running
pure luck. Yeah,
plus 200 attack, and then I still beat a Douglas just because I randomly landed the defense break and randomly landed a crit, which happened, and I love it when it happens. It's just entertaining, but it is bullshit that they can just slap a unit and totally screw over my box, even though I'm not playing turn 1 necessarily. I'm just taking a unit. I'm just taking a meme comp. It's not like the meme comp is bad. It's more like you can just take this one unit and it just decimates you. And it has nothing to do with the rune quality. It's just your HP units are garbage.
Well, it's always just a unit with a passive, It has nothing to do with the runes. It's just that passive.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
has the chance
down to a single thing.
I
It's
gotta
just
show you a game after against Big V. He runs a violent Antares apparently.
what?
This is news to me.
Mm.
I died in 2 rounds to 9 Antares turns. 2 rotations of my team triggered 9 Antares turns between
Oh,
the activation of his passive and then his violent runes. And my whole team was dead before he took a natural turn on a single unit. It's like, what the fuck?
this game.
What
This
the
game
hell,
is so
man?
fun.
He killed me
That's
straight through Wedgeot's defense buff, straight through my anti-crit, straight
anti-crit.
through
Oh,
everything, dude. My units are tanky as hell. Like as tanky as Nat 4 Robos can be, but like they both have plus 25, 26k health. Like they're beefy boys, but
I hate that that's just an option in this game still.
yeah.
Like units like that's why I love you Livert, with your play style, because you're using
You
these
don't
units that
use those. And
they're
we
not looked
appreciate
at.
that.
That's why I'm building him right now. You show me something like, damn, that's actually a good idea. I'm building my Yanhua right now as we speak.
Gio's a little luck sack. She
Yeah.
doesn't do anything when she's not stunning. I don't feel like
Yeah,
I
but
have no issues with her if I'm not getting stunned.
I think
yeah,
Karma on Oliver
but
is
if
pretty good.
but if you argue like that, then running Despair on some of those CC units is also Luxac.
Yeah, well, it's like, but hers is passive driven, like because you're going to like she's getting the turns just out of pure passive, and then whether or not she actually does something to you is a 25% chance. Like, yeah, this like Chung Peng can be on despair, but he's going to do what he does regardless of whether or not he despair stuns you. That the despair stun might fuck you over. Like maybe your Annabelle resists the like the increased
Now
cooldown, but you got
I mean
despair stun. Like that sucks. But
the Annabelle is not the argument because I mean she's obviously weak into Chongpeng, but for
well, any
Nora,
unit,
for
yeah.
example, like I use triple revenge Nora to have to sustain with S1.
Yep.
And as soon as like if she gets the spare stun relatively early in the game, it's usually kind of hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
And well, that's basically also kind of luck sacking in that sense. Or
Yeah.
like the best thing that can happen to you with the Hyunwa, the only way to stop her is basically to strip stun her
On the
turn
first
one.
hit,
So
the very first hit.
so
Yeah.
every now and then you will have that one match where the more just strip stuns her turn one, and you're like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just go home now.
Yeah.
I think Gooey in that example though is the lesser evil of like all the other options out there though.
I mean, I would say so too, because I think you need those turn two options that do have like some mechanic with either revenges or
Despair.
just gaining a tech bar in some way to actually get a turn. And if you compare it with Antares, where people are complaining that he can like basically you have a turn, he has a turn, and so on and so on. With her, it's like way more like you can calculate it in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
No.
you can
No.
plan
The
it,
argument that I'm
so-
making is I don't think she's good. Like I literally think like I'm not arguing that I dislike her passive or that she's too strong. I think she's actually I think personally that she's still weak. And it's the only time that I'm going to have any issues with her, if I'm going to have any issues with her, is if I'm getting despair stunned, which even that she's not great at. She only has it's a single hit, single target, 25% chance. I mean, it's not great. It's the odds are not in her favor. But sometimes she pops off. I mean,
I think there's a lot of people thinking otherwise, because usually when I draft her in these anti-CC kind of thing, she's very often the ban target.
that's
And
really
even if
weird.
she's-
I mean, I'm not
even
using.
if-
I guess I have a different. I'm not using that type of comp right now, though. Like Oliver and stuff like that, I get it because like in order for Oliver to have any impact on the match, you have to just keep running your skills, run your skills, run your skills, run your skills, and she really puts like a wrench in that. But I mean, with mine right now, I'm using a lot of just like with Wedge Out, I just don't S2 With Verd, I just never click my S2. The Robos, when I am clicking their skills, they're either stunning her or pushing her back. And then, yeah, so it's just, I never really personally have any issues, but I guess the Oliver, that makes sense to me.
That's kind of what her main design was. And I think we mentioned this last podcast when we were talking about Gooey getting 35 bar, or we spoke about this during the Balance Patch podcast, or that was like the thing I wanted was her to just gain more bar, so she actually does cut and start messing up the turn 1 comps. And she's doing exactly that. I don't think she needs a additional buff to...
I wish they gave her like some real damage, though. That was such a fake buff.
Really? Oh, what did they do? They added additional damage based
HP
on
percent?
their HP? Their HP, was it?
That's enemy max HP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unnoticeable.
It's a little weird.
She hits like a noodle. Like, it does...
I think it's actually okay, but it might also be since I gave her some additional damage. Like, I wanted her to have enough damage to, like, pop a shield rune in case the opponent runs, like, Miles, for example, or something like that. So she needs to do at least, like, I don't know, 2k per hit.
Mm-hmm. But she only does that additional damage if they have karma on them. To even make it.
Really?
Oh, wait,
yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't.
He has additional damage. That's proportional.
I don't have a Gooey, but that's awful. That's really bad.
That
when attacking suppressed monster, that sucks. Okay, come to us. At least get rid of that condition. Maybe that's why I think she's so weak, because she never continues to hit the unit that she already karma'd. She always goes to the next thing and tries to get despair stuns. So I guess. Yeah, maybe that's why I think she hits so low, because I'm never actually taking the boosted hit.
No. Never. You never will.
Huh. That's interesting. Come to us. Change that.
Yeah, make that just all
just
the
do
time.
the damage. What the fuck? I'm sure it's not that much.
I'm actually kind of okay with how it is, since, I don't know, I don't like those... like additional
true damage
or kind of mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, don't turn her into Dominic or anything like that, but she could do a little more. I mean, I don't know, I don't have one, but I wonder how much she would do if she was on like crit damage or something.
Yeah, I mean, just watch her, like, they change it, and then next season you just like karma the Oliver and then build her on like speed, attack, and just one shot with this one.
That'd be awesome. That would be sick, though. But like, once again, I am kind of okay with that type of a mechanic, because you can play around it. Like, you do not have to activate Gooey's passive if you don't want to. Like, you can pick your spots with her.
Yeah.
Antares, I mean, activating his passive is just you taking a turn. Like, there's no, you can't not take a turn. Like, that's not going to happen. So,
but I do feel the game is getting close to a very balanced meta.
Yeah,
I mean, like, think about like with the turn 2 options we have now, and Livert showcasing them for us. Like, it makes me excited to play into after Oliver is dealt with, and then obviously. You're never gonna have Antares Verd stuff ever gone from the game. Most likely not. People just love taking it just to piss off people usually, or they feel like that's their only way to win anything. Which, why even play in the first place? I don't know. But it feels super close. It feels super close. I just hope they don't botch it by like over buffing another unit. While they nerf Oliver.
That's going to. I mean, that's a guarantee,
kind of a given, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a guarantee. I mean, and it's 100% intentional. Like, they do want to get you to buy some packs. Like, that is part of the business model. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this patch is probably mostly going to be a couple nerfs, and like, this is the cookie patch, right? Like, you would think.
We hope so.
Like, I mean. It's got to be, right? That whole entire collab just fell flat on its face. Like, those units suck. Like, they got to do something, right? I hope.
I'm hoping. I don't. When I think about, okay, maybe we can talk about this a little bit. What do you want to see on the cookies to be buffed? For example, like, I'm looking at Water Hollyberry.
They need some aggressiveness in their kits.
They have decent multipliers. The issue is their either the passive sucks or like their skills with cooldown are like very whack for a Nat 5. I'm talking about the Nat 5 ones.
Yeah.
Now I look at Water Hollyberry and I see like she can't parry if she's under CC, meaning you can't mitigate. I don't mean her counterattacking. I
But you
mean
can't block the damage, yeah.
Yeah, the damage that can't be blocked if she's put under stun, which is like atrocious, dude. I mean, how can Molly heal and glance whether or not she's under CC or not?
Yeah.
And you have this unit, basically, she has a double oblivion that could be applied to her to knock out her passive, whether she's stunned or anything. She won't do anything. And then you use her S2.
The S2 that you're hovering, right? That skills. That's like a Nat. There's probably Nat 2s that have that skill. I'm almost positive that there's like a couple of Nat 2s that have that fucking skill.
Yeah. And
what is
we
that?
Know that? They know that they release it and they're like, oh, we're going to buff it. Like, they're obviously going to buff it.
Yeah, of course.
But I hate that they release it in this state where it's like not even considered usable in any way, shape, or form. It's just, it bums me. But I don't know how to buff this unit without making her into a water molly. Because she needs some sort of sustain. She needs some sort of heal. Her passive needs to not activate when she's not under, or her passive needs to activate when she's not under CC. For all I know, maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's not meant to be coded that way. But it's odd. It bothers me. And I don't know what to do without turning her into Molly. I don't know.
Have you tried any of these out yet, Livert?
No, actually not. The only thing that I've seen is like this thing is the one with the damage reduction, right? Yeah.
I've been trying her with Wedge Out, but it's not.
I've seen this on like let's say Swift Nemesis, for example, but I'm not sure if it's only good into like those, maybe also those more teams to just they don't do any damage, or if you could also use it into snipe comms.
Yeah,
not sure if it's enough, but it's like she's kind of like what I would have liked Ophelia to be in some sense, since Ophelia is also that kind of unit where you would have to run her swift, so such that the threat state and the shields do something, but then you can just AoE strip it and it just does nothing. And in her case here, it's designed in a way that you cannot strip it, so if you outspeed, it actually does something.
Yeah, but the key word here is outspeed. Generally, you want that pass or S3 to work against a turn 1 comp of some sort. And
well, was it? Did we talk about this last week with apps, or were we talking about it off stream? I don't remember, but we were talking about too. Like she should have either the String Master passive, where her speed gets cut in half once she turns that on, or that skill shouldn't have a cooldown. So just every turn you get to choose. Turn your shield back on until your next turn. Maybe you remove the immunity to inability effects if you do something like that.
Yeah, that has to be a negative.
Yeah. Or you can choose to use your S2 or choose to... Because then you can also... Right now, you can't even run her on Violent. Her S2 and her S1 are great Violent skills, but you can't use her on Violent because if she Violence out of the S3, you just lose your damage reduction completely. You just put your own S3 on cooldown and then lose it. So it's like...
but not giving it a cooldown at all also sounds kind of broken, since it's like if you can't really get through because you didn't pick enough damage, and she's just able to like keep it permanently on.
So like a Leona,
like, there's no way,
for example?
There's no way. Yeah, it's like an AoE Leona in that case. Yeah, like you can't really play around it at that point.
Yeah, well, it's just like you would have to remove the inability to the immunity to inability effects, right? Like she can't just be an invincible juggernaut permanently for the whole game, but like then you have to either CC, deal damage through it, or I mean, I guess those are your only two options. I don't know. I mean, every team has 3 to 4 units that can CC. Maybe even Silence blocks it. I don't know. That's just for your chroma. That's the only reason I'm throwing that in there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, she needs something. I mean, it's like right now I'm running this thing on like guard will destroy or something like that because you can't go violent. I don't want to go swift because I don't want her to be fast and only protect my team for like a short amount of time. just a weird unit. It's just awkward. You don't even get to choose who you protect with the S2.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad.
Wait, you can't choose who you hug?
Goes to the
No.
lowest HP.
Your opponent chooses for
Lowest
you.
HP. Yeah, okay.
It's just bad.
That's indeed weird.
Because they basically choose your opponent chooses who you get to hug, and then they choose. I mean, hug in general. The reason why it's not a great RTA skill is because then they just choose if they ever want to attack it or not. Because you only face the ramifications of the hug if you hit the unit who's hugged. So it's like they get to choose who the hug goes to, and then they get to choose whether or not to attack it. So it's like you ultimately usually end up doing nothing.
I don't know. I see that a little different, I think. Because if let's say I hack a unit on purpose, like with a genre skill, then I can put it on a unit where I just don't want them to kill it, and if they don't hit it, I also got what I wanted. Like if they hit it for some reason,
of
I
course.
get some revenge stuff off, but if they don't hit it, I get what I want. And here, I mean, yeah, you can choose, but usually the target that should be lowest on HP should be the one that they focus. So you either have them like first go onto whatever target so the hack lands there, and then they get to focus the target they want, which also costs them time. Or you can protect the target that they actually wanted to kill first, and they have to decide for something else. So I wouldn't say it does nothing. It's
I don't
more
know.
like
I've
when you
tried
have the
to-
strips to deal
But
with it.
you should be able to choose, because let's
I've
say they
tried it
did.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually end up working out like that. Because usually the damage you've taken in the beginning of most RTA matches is like in an AoE fashion. I mean, there are some comps out there with like single target heavy damage, but usually you've taken AoE damage, and then the hug's just going to go to whatever took the most, which is probably more so based on element than anything. Like your fire units likely took more from the water Ryu than the wind units did, or whatever. So like usually when she's getting that turn, it's usually not really up to you. You're kind of just throwing it on whatever happened to take the most from the AoE, and then they just hone in on the other thing with their Masha or their whatever, and
Yeah.
it's just weird. I mean, it's not bad. It's just an awkward unit all around. Like the situation has to line up so perfectly where like you get the S3 up, it blocks all the damage coming in. Next round comes around, you S2, it goes on the unit you actually want to protect, and then that unit's safe for another 2-3 rounds. Like it's just so specific, and it almost never seems to actually work out that way, the way you want it to.
Yeah, and then having the control capabilities on
I love their
skill
S1.
1, it's kind of like you wanted either triple revenge or like on a violent build. But well, skill 3 says don't
you
go
can't
be
go
violent.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk. I think those units would be great on. If they do get buffed, I am gonna try some like wedge out stuff with like full. I mean, already I have both those girls, the water and the fire, on full crit damage builds, and they slam with defense buff.
Oh yeah.
But their skill sets are just so freaking bad that it doesn't ever seem to matter.
It's a real. Their S1s are gorgeous. Leave them totally as they are.
Yeah, those are some of the best S1s. They hit so hard, and they have a CC built in.
Love it. And it doesn't get reduced as the game goes on.
Yep. I think those units are close. I think the pure vanillas are a little bit further away from being good.
Very far away.
They're just if you think these units are passive, the pure vanillas are just. These are just.
They were not meant for RTA
no,
at all.
I don't know what they are meant for though. Like
I don't know.
They have arena leads though.
Yeah, that's true. They do have arena leads.
They're meant for
Look at
regular
that.
arena.
Look at that
RTA.
crit rate on the fire. Does she even have a skill that does damage?
Yeah, her S1. What do you mean?
Crit rate arena leader skill. Holy.
What a comp.
That
It's
is
probably because this was the boosting skill, right? increasing attack bar stuff, so you can pair up better with like Vertile.
Yeah, you run 67 crit rate on your Vertile, and you tune it to that lead. I mean, that's like giving crit lead to O'Reilly. Like, what are you doing? It makes no sense. You just don't even give her one.
She's the next candidate for speed lead. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's true. But they've got 96 base speed. Most of them just, I think, pretty much all of them just have double support skill, right? Like,
yep.
Or triple, because their first skill is a support skill too. So most of them have triple support skill. It's hard to be a good unit with triple support skill.
Mm-hmm. Especially when your S2 is a really bad support skill. The one with Oblivion.
That doesn't help, yeah.
That Oblivion is like one of the worst skills they ever released.
It's bad.
On release. To send it out like that is like atrocious, man. Actually atrocious. It makes no sense to me.
They just feel like Nat 4s that are
that
are really expensive because every cookie scroll was like $50, and even when you get a Nat 5, you still get a Nat 4.
Yeah,
what a deal!
What a deal!
I wonder if I can just pair this thing here up with Leona. Just build it like 0 speed, super thick, and people just kill themselves when I use AoE skills.
That could work. Do you have her?
I don't know. Yeah, I have her, but I don't like the cookie skins too much, so
I don't like it either.
As long as they aren't
that one's
relevant,
bad.
I hope to like get those ones instead.
Would the shields overlap though? Like, because she generates a shield too,
does it have to be her shield?
It only says
no, it's just with the shield.
No, but it says in addition, she makes a shield equal to 50% on the ally with the lowest HP. So if Leona's never on the lowest HP, it's fine.
It doesn't matter. The bigger shield stays no matter what.
Yeah.
If Leona's shield is already bigger, then it just stays, even if that were to go to Leona. But if
it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's not bigger, then you just get a bigger shield. That's even better.
The second skill is also AoE shield, so you have also shield services for your other targets, and the first skill, I mean, it's just that heal, so you could technically have another triple revenge unit that provides some sustain into AoE comps.
I wish these weren't 96 base speed, because like I would like to try like a tech Swift unit like this, where it's like you just throw up the shields and you just go, okay, Ryu, go crazy, like
see what happens.
Send your S2 and the Ryu just dies. That'd be awesome.
That could work as well, but the base speed
too low. It's way too low.
But for turn 2 unit, like those base stats are really crazy.
Yeah, that's good. That's thick.
Above 700 defense, above 11k HP. That's really good.
Res lead, very nice.
Yeah, but for units that do no damage and no debuffs, that's way too slow.
It's almost weird. It's like weirdly slow. Like, why did this family have to be 96 base?
Like Shizuka at 103 as an example. Mind you, the whole family isn't a full support team, but Shizuka as an example, her alone, even though she does nothing with her, like not physically. Well, no, she does debuffs too, though. Like Shizuka makes sense to be a 96, not a 103.
Agreed.
For her specifically, I would say, like her kit is similar to Molly. I would say, can kind of compare it a little bit, and base speed
much
is also
worse, but
similar. Yeah, but it's kind of like if you want to compare it to
same
one
style
already in the game, then it's like Molly Tetra kind of thing.
Actually, that's technically. She's pretty damn close to Lulu too, and I think that's actually Lulu's base speed, right?
Lulu has one. No, Lulu has 98.
Oh, 98. Wait, what is? Is Molly 96 or is she 95?
I think it's 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess they're in the range of similar units, but they're also just strictly worse than both of those units. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I do think this is going to be a cookie patch either way.
Lulu's on 99.
Oh.
I have to double check. No, it felt like 98 was wrong. I was right. No, and here's the thing. You want to give another wind unit Speed Awakening? Is that what we want to do?
I'd
Like,
rather they give it to the probably the water for now,
mm-hmm.
because at least she's like a buffer. She's semi-aggressive and like sort of attack lead, attack power buff. I think that would be cool for her. I mean, I don't really care if they give them speed awakenings. I'd be happy if they just bump this whole family up to like 100 or 101.
Yeah.
I don't see any of those units being an issue at 100 or 101.
They're just support units.
Like, okay, you put the Dark One who's an AoE strip to 101. Guess what? Still worse than fucking Wind Robo, also at 101.
Love it.
Who cares?
I'm just thinking also for the Oblivion skills, I'm pretty sure they're gonna get strips added with that.
That would be good.
I think that's like their crappy justification.
A scoop of pudding. It's called a scoop of pudding. Grants Oblivion. What?
Who knew pudding puts you into a state of oblivion? Love it. I love the storytelling. Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I hope it's a cookie patch.
If this was 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't be saying that I'm happy with the meta. I've actually been having fun with the game lately, so.
Well, somebody pulled a wedge out.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of happy with the meta, but I'm still eager to see the patch. Like, I think this is going to be the easiest patch for Com2uS to get right, because there's only a couple units. But that's what makes me so sure that they're not going to get it right, is that it's so blatantly obvious that there's no chance they actually do it. Like, I feel like Oliver, they might even buff him for all I know. Like, they're not gonna do it right. I remember back in the day when everyone was like, remember the biggest issue was like Diana? Everyone hated Diana. And like, it's like, what's the issue? Does she do too much damage? Is too much attack bar? And they're like, here's Antares. And then like fucking 5 years later, he's still the most hated unit in Summoner's War. And it's thanks guys. Diana's still exactly the same from day one when everyone hated her. And now all we have to show for that is Antares is still torturing us. It's crazy.
We could take Daphnis into her now. What do you mean?
Yeah, I also don't really like what they did to him.
It's not good. It's
yeah. I feel like if they I mean, I'm not saying Daphnis is a powerhouse unit now, but like if they keep creating stronger and stronger units, I feel like at some point the game just becomes unplayable.
Yeah.
So they kind of need to be careful with that.
Dude, I think Robos are in that category. How do you release? What the hell is an AoE stripper going to have to look like to come out and be better than these 4 stars? What the hell you're going to have to give that thing fucking strip Oblivion pushback or some shit for it to be better than these 4 stars. They're so good, and they're so much better than any other AoE strip we've had. Like, they're better than, like, I don't care what anybody says, they're better than Gianna. Like, if I had a Gianna right now, my Wind Robo would still have my faster Swift set. Like, my Gianna would be like a pocket pick if I had a Gianna right now. Because he is not countered by anything. He's not countered by Haygang, he's not countered by Volantis, he's not countered by anything. Volantis countered and got 20 bar. Good thing I took fucking 60 from him. Like, it's crazy. But, like, because this guy's even too broken in the sense that, like, the only other units in the game that strip and immediately do something to your opponent is, like, Gianna, Veronica, and I guess, like, Clara in that sense. But, like, he's even better than they are because he has it split into 2 skills. So he S2s, gets rid of the Haygang passive, gets rid of all that crap, then gets 100% bar and drops the S3 down. So he still gets the effect of a Gianna while countering Haygang instead of getting countered by Haygang. How do you release any new strippers that power creep this 4-star? Like, is it even possible?
I don't know. The only way they're going to do is if they nerf these at this point, which won't happen this coming patch, but probably the next patch.
Yeah, but it's easy. You just give it 5 more base speed and you're there.
That's true.
Oh.
Come out with a Nat 5 robot that has 106 base, and you're good to go. I mean, their base stats are their downfall. They're super squishy, 101, and they don't have awakenings. So none of them have speed, none of them have accuracy, none of them have anything. They have no awakenings, no leader skills, and horrible base stats.
Yeah.
But the skill kit is so freaking overloaded. It's insane. And they just buffed them in the last hotfix because the S1 wasn't scaling on speed like it's supposed to. So now my freaking S1 does like 8k and I'm not even critting. It's like insane. It makes no sense. They gave him like Jameyer's S1. The thing slams.
Killed my wind robo. I can't hold this back anymore.
You can't play turn 1 without him, dude. You got people like Make It About and stuff using him. He's got every LD in the book. Who's his best Swift set on? Wind Robo. Like, what the fuck? They're just so good. I mean, Wind specifically, like Dark and Fire both have their downsides, but the fact that Wind Robo basically Gianna's you while countering Hey Gang, it's insane. His stun even pushes back too, because why the fuck not? Right?
Yeah, I don't get that addition to it.
Because why not?
Oh, that's why. Why not? Makes more sense.
It's like, can't you be? I mean, you can be a little bit better, like 15% of them with Gianna, right? Since what can happen is that he just misses the first stun, and then he basically does nothing with the skill.
Yeah, but it's the reason why he's so good is because he's split into 2 skills. So, like, regardless of if he gets that clap down, it's coming after a 40% bar reduction on the entire other. It's like he gets to Chiwu you and then maybe Gianna you. Like he might miss, and he does sometimes. It's super frustrating. Like you're like, okay, we'll throw the first stun on Shizuka and then we'll let it go. And then he misses right on the Shizuka immediately, and you're like, God damn it! Now you get no stuns and you miss the one you were aiming for. But it's like it's still all following having already reduced everybody by 40 bar and done a bunch of additional damage and all that stuff. So
and for sure, your other 3 units are going to do something as well. That's not to be subtracted from that. Like. Worst case, like his S2 is just really the big thing. That even if you do mess up your S3, you have 3 other units that are most likely taking a turn, whether or not you stunned.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, they're gonna nerf them. They're probably gonna start by increasing the cooldowns on probably the S2. It is really low, but it sucks that they have to again nerf a 4-star after overbuffing it or overtuning it or whatever, because they're never going to be able to make an AoE strip that's better than this if they don't, even if it's an Nat 5. It's just dumb.
Maybe they have in their mind when you see Wind Robo, you take quadruple fire, and that should be your wind condition.
I mean, Dougie works. Dougie beats the hell out of this guy, but
naturally.
Fire Monkey's good too, because like if your second punch goes to the Fire Monkey, you automatically can't stun him. Then he just breaks your chain, but it's not good enough.
It's still weird though. Also, I personally don't like it when AoE strips have CC skills in their kit as well.
Like a follow-up skill.
It's just like basically like the Chung Pong thing all over again. Just that he doesn't even need the Via proc.
No, that's exactly what it is. He's already better than Chunk. He's pretty much the best wind unit. Aside from Oliver, he would be second place to me.
He's a 1-unit team comp. Like he goes first, he does the stripping, he does the attack bar tuning, and he does the AoE CC skill all in 1 unit. It's crazy, but all right, we can call it there if you guys don't have any closing thoughts. We're already at a pretty long episode, so.
Oh shit! Yeah, it was almost an hour 20. But I don't know, meta's too stale to even like think of anything to add to this right now. At least it's stale to me. Livert's having a great time though. Livert's having a great time.
We're happy you're happy, okay, Livert?
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
I mean,
am
I'm happy too. I'm having a good time now too. But
I wish I could
I
fix
still-
Shazam.
I still want the balance patch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all kind of want it, right? And
Yeah, it feels
like,
like it's
at
been
least-
2 cycles, since we've had one, just because the last one was so meh.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
But at
I
least
feel
they
like
are.
it's-
So go ahead.
I feel like it's still changed things somehow, right? Weren't the Robos in the last one as well?
The
Yeah.
Robos, in my opinion, were like the only thing that really kind of
I
did or
think
changed.
Geo as well. You
But
also mentioned people using the Chimeras.
Yeah, well, Gyu
So-
didn't change though, right? Because all she
No.
got was that damage, but
No,
we
no,
just
no.
realized
She
that
went from-
damage never happens.
No, she went from 25 bar to 35 bar.
Oh, okay.
That's a big bar. That's the exact thing I was asking for when we were talking about Gooey
Hmm.
at the time, months ago.
Yeah,
That is notable to me. That's very notable. But like again, though, but still, Oliver kind of craps on you for having a Gooey for some reason. But yeah,
all right. Well, thank you for joining us again. We appreciate it. Thank you
Thanks for having me.
thanks for staying up all night to do the,
Thank-
do the podcast.
thanks for showing me your string master. I'm building one right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it
Yeah.
out with Shazam OP.
Hope
Yeah.
you're gonna have more luck with her than with the Rochi.
I'm gonna always have every time we have Livert on, I'm
Ruin
gonna have
both.
to take some idea from just ruin both.
Yeah.
Ruin both. Under
All right.
discussion.
Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.